In this video, we're going to revise ledger lines, the staffs, the clefs. Now the staff, you will see I have 5 lines on the staff and I have 4 spaces. So that's very important, and I always number it from the bottom. I can either use the treble clef, the G clef. It's very important because that will indicate the G note there on that line. Or I can use the bass clef, the F clef, and you will see that that is the F note. The treble clef is also called the G clef because the staff line which the clef wraps around is known as G. Okay? And then the F clef, the staff line which the clef wraps around, is the F note. There you see the G note. So if you forget the little sentences, it's very important that you remember that that is the G note, G clef. See the musical alphabet, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now in my class we have a sentence for the lines. Every good boy deserves food. And the spaces, what is below a G? An F. F, A, C, E. So you have to be able to say this alphabet to the front and also to the back. G, F, E, D, C, B, A, as I carry on. Look at the bass clef. Now we know that that note is F. F, G, A. And as I said, you must also be able to count backwards. F, E, D, C, B, A, G. So that bottom note below G will be an F. Now we have a sentence. Gary backs, does funny acts for the lines, and for the spaces, all cows eat grass. Very important to know where middle C is. Now you see for the treble clef that that is at the bottom, and for the bass clef that is at the top. Here you will see a clear example of the C, middle C, and I must know my musical alphabet. C, D, E. If I get to there, every good boy deserves food. Okay, and my spaces, F, A, C, E. Let's look at the bass clef. Middle C is at the top. C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A, G, F. Now that F is very important because you will also be asked to write the F major scale. Now I know that this is the F clef, the bass clef, and there you see the F. Gary backs, does funny acts. All cows eat grass. Go through this again. G clef. Every good boy deserves food. G clef, face, F, A, C, E. Figure out that G note. I say every good boy deserves food. If that is an F, this must be a G. You need to draw a line for notes. I call these ledger lines. So we had the G just now. The G is there. Let's look at the G. So A, B, C, D, E. Always line note, space note, line note, space note. The ledger lines below the treble clef, we know now that this is C. C, B, A, G, F. Okay. And what is on top of that C? A D, and that connects it with the E. for every good boy deserves food. Very important to note that the middle C of the treble clef will start at the top for the bass clef. C, B, A, G, F. It's very important. And I know that the bass clef is also called the F clef. Okay. We asked this in the examination, but I know that that first line is a G. So the F we have seen, then the E starts. E, D, C, B, A, G, F. I'm going to ask you up to the C. Okay, but you have to be able to figure out the ledger lines. Study your work. Give yourself a reference point that you know that in the treble clef, this is middle C and that is the high G. So then you can figure out anything. Okay, and you know that the note on top of the G is the A. So give yourself that reference point. Bass clef, give yourself reference points. You know that that is a G. You know that that is the F. And middle C is at the top. Give yourself that reference before you start working out your notes. To have that reference, it's easy to work out the rest. So if you know the C is there, and you know that the G is there, you know on top of a C you have D, and then you get to your sentence, every good boy deserves food, and I get to my spaces, F, A, C, E, and I know that on top of the G I have A, my ledger line, B, my ledger line, C, my ledger line, and then middle C and below the C I have a B. Your bass clef, the F clef, E starts there, below an E I have a D and a C that you have to know, and you will remember the G and the F and the C note, and D is on top of the C. So it's not that difficult, you must just go through your notes a lot. So this week you need to know the treble clef, every good boy deserves food, and that face will fit in with the spaces. This you have to know. You must also know that this is the G clef, so you must be able to do and make the G clef. Also practice your ledger lines a lot, and you will see that the spacing of your ledger lines, they stay the same size and difference than the staff lines. Don't make these too far away from the staff. So if I know that's an F, F, line, G, space, line, space, line, space, line, space. Below an E, I have a D. D, middle C, B, A, G, F, E. So you need to practice this. And that you see those two dots. Those two dots indicate the F note. You can't have that, the dots at a different place. We say Gary Bags does funny acts, but this will also work. Good boys deserve food always. And all cows eat grass. So this you need to know for this week. Your ledger lines a lot. I know that that is middle C, A, B, C, D, F, E. I'm not going to ask higher than that. And you see that the spacing, okay, fits with the rest of the lines. That F is very important. F, E, D, C. So that you know it. So good luck with all your notes this week and reading your notes on the staff and with a ledger line.